Hello and welcome everyone to the September 30th edition of the Contributor Comms meeting. A reminder, we do have a code of conduct in place. So generally it says to be respectful of your fellow speakers and attendees and generally be excellent to each other. And for today, I've already got us down in the notes, which I have a bunch of notes for today since I actually was able to attend the regular ContribEx meeting. And they wanted us to Josh actually asked me to come to the contributor experience meeting and talk about our roles that we've been creating. So we talked about a lot of comm stuff in there. I added a couple of new things to the table, just one new thing to the table, I think. But we'll start by going through updates and big wins. But before we do that, trying to be better about remembering to offer for anyone new to the call, please introduce yourself now if you would like to. Totally optional, but if you are new to our group, we'd love to meet you and know a little bit more about what you're looking for here. Is there anyone today? Cool. You're also welcome to post in the chat. We do check that out. Okay, so we'll dive right into updates and big wins. First thing from the ContribEx meeting is that there's no community meeting in October due to KubeCon. So we won't have to worry about a lot of the usual community meeting comms this month, as usual as they are. Another thing from the ContribEx meeting, like I mentioned, Josh did ask us to come in and talk about the roles that we've been developing. And one piece of feedback that he had on the roles was to change the names of them to incorporate comms into them so that they don't get confused with the regular ContribEx roles by similar names, especially like tech lead and the event lead. Comms event lead, event comms lead, something like that. So he said he was going to put this feedback on the role PRs, but I don't know if he actually did. So there it is for folks who have roles open. Cool. Next item, we keep checking in on, or we keep mentioning in this meeting, at least the contributor guide. We used to do new contributor workshops at each KubeCon at the contributor summit, but we didn't see very good transition to actual contribution from that for folks who attended those new contributor workshops. So since 2020, we've been trying to work on putting that content together into a virtual self-paced format. So that work is ongoing. There's a contributor guide and a developer guide, and there's also a non-code contributor guide in the works. The non-code contributor guide hasn't really been started yet, but the plan is to start that basically after KubeCon. Contributor guide and developer guide are in progress, and Bob is working on the contributor guide, and I don't remember exactly who it was on the developer guide, but you can check out the ContribEx meeting notes if you want to learn more about those. And this is important for our work on the contributor site, k8s.dev, because we do want to represent that information there. So I figured that was a good update. Another thing from that meeting, a whole bunch of things from that meeting. Prow now has support for closing issues as not supported. So that might be a good tip that we want to tweet out or something like that. So if anyone is interested in claiming that tweet, go for it. Anyone in particular want to write a tweet today?
Sure.
Cool.
On that item above, yes, sorry. Yeah, I'll write it right now.
Sounds lovely. That's the nice thing about asking for folks to own things during this meeting is they just get done.
Get it done.
And a couple of comms updates. The steering committee election voting is now closed as of early this morning. It technically closed September 29th, at the end of the day, September 29th, anywhere in the world. So early in the morning, my time. And the Contributor Summit CFP closes today. So if anyone was interested in putting anything together to give at the Contributor Summit, today is your last day. If you need any help, if you have any ideas that you think might be cool and you're not quite sure and you need some help, let us know so that we can brainstorm together.
Hey, Caslin, how many responses have we had? Do we know?
I don't.
Okay.
I can check in
CFPs?
again.
Yeah, like, is this something to be concerned about? Do we really need to do a strong push today?
I can get that
Basically
info.
do a tweet and then ping a bunch of people and ask them to share it out, or?
I know the last time we checked in, you going to do it, Chris?
I was about to say, Caslin is typing. Oh, I'll stop.
I can do
I'll
it.
ask. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, you can do it. I'll run the
Okay.
meeting. But the last I heard, we did not have many CFP submissions. I'm hoping that that has changed this week as we've been running a more aggressive marketing campaign for it, comms campaign for it. We did send out a message on that already early this morning, Pacific time at least. And I think we have at least one more planned for later today, hopefully. I don't know. I'll have to check buffer on that, I guess.
I can
I'll
look.
do that in a
I'm
second,
logged in.
yeah. If not, maybe we should probably put one in there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kim, for putting together most of the tweets that we've done on that. Much appreciated.
You're welcome, of course. Thank you.
It's weird. It says we have 2 in queue, but they're not there.
I feel like I've been having some issues with buffer lately. There's been a couple of tweets that I scheduled that like didn't go.
Yeah, the whole internet has been weird today for me.
This was a few days ago. They've mostly
Yeah.
been going out this week, but there were a couple like last week or something that didn't quite work.
All right, let me put one in there.
Much appreciated. Cool. So any questions about the things from Updates Big Wins before we move into new items? And there was one, like I said, that went out early this morning. So if you wanted to do something similar to that, if you wanted a reference, but also not too complicated of a message to put together. So I think you can come up with something probably. Diving into new items. There was one specific new item request from the ContribEx meeting, which was creating comms about the new area community meeting label. So there's now a label in GitHub specifically for the community meeting. And they were asking for comms to make sure that the community knows that that label exists. So we probably want to do a tweet on that. Does anyone want to claim it?
Sure. Yeah, I'll just write tweets all day.
Yeah.
No, I have to write them all day for my organization too, so.
Such as comms.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Much appreciated. There's one other item that is not a new item that I should have put into Updates Big Wins that I somehow missed this morning. Didn't need that to be bold, which we'll mention in the table as well, but KubeCon tweets. I created the spreadsheet already a couple weeks ago, and Kim already wrote one. That's the only one that's in the doc because we forgot to mention it last week. There is a link in the table up near the top of the table, so we'll see it here in a second. But please, please, please help with KubeCon tweet planning. We have a spreadsheet that lists out all of the tweets that we think that we need. Go ahead and claim them, look up the schedule, and look at the example tweets from previous years and get things written up. Questions, comments? I've got the spreadsheet right here, actually, so I'll grab the link and put it in the chat.
I now have the link as well, and I was looking for it the other day and gave up.
Oh,
Well, I gave up after like 10 seconds. So, I mean, I didn't try really hard, but now I have it. I'll add some as well during the day.
I can usually find it if I go to Google Sheets. If it's a sheet that you've opened recently, it should be in there. my
I
tip.
was in the transition to 2 laptops, so yeah.
The
Yeah, why not?
worst. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So that's updates and big wins and new items. Any questions, comments on those before we move into the table? Cool. Let's move into the table. All right, at the top, we've got Hina's work on, so there's a gap in the work that Hina had already done. She created a GitHub team for us to make sure that we'll be alerted when there are new issues filed, and included a tag to our group in the issue template, but that won't tell us about PRs that are submitted without using the issue template. So we were looking into automatically adding a comment tagging comms when a label is applied. So we did ask for help on this, and Atarva was looking into it. Is Atarva on today?
He is not.
Okay. Well, I should probably check in on that. I mean, it's not a super urgent thing, so not a big issue if it's not there. Want to write that down though. Okay. Cool. Next item, I went ahead and put it right at the top of the table, KubeCon tweets. So if you need the link, you can find it here at the top of the table. It's only 3 weeks away somehow. I don't know how that works, but getting close there. Kim, what were you saying?
I was reading that that issue, and I actually don't understand what it was trying to do. I mean, I read through it once, so if someone can just explain it to me or throw in the chat kind of what it's doing. Somebody who
This one, right? The prowl support.
Yeah, if someone just kind of explains high level, I can definitely write something up and get it scheduled.
Honestly,
Closed. Yeah, close not plan is now a command that you can issue to the KCI robot, which will then close the ticket or issue and then mark it as like, we have no plan to do this, as opposed to just like rotten or stale or, you know, the normal life cycle things that you see as issues get older. So you can now close something as not planned as opposed to close with no real explanation.
It's
Perfect.
It's our want fix kind of.
Yeah,
approach.
basically. Yeah. I mean,
it just eases all of our work, and we do. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you. I also found it confusing in the ContribEx meeting because they has support for closing issues as not supported, and the bot auto closes as not planned. So I was going to look at the.
I was
on the exact
and like,
terminology.
I'm not seeing the label applied either, which is interesting. It just says life cycle rotten. So I'm not sure this is fully fleshed out.
So maybe we should hold off on that and contact someone.
I'll reach out to GitHub management real quick.
Okay. And there was a name of who shared that in the ContribEx meeting notes. So if you need to find a name, you can find it in the ContribEx meeting notes.
Got it.
I'll write the tweet. I'll leave it in draft, and then you all can move it to planned or let me know. But how about that?
Yeah,
that works.
Okay,
that works.
It's good to have a draft ready.
Yeah, there you go.
Cool. Back into the table. Any questions, comments about tweets once again? Because please help. There are instructions in the document. So,
sorry. One more.
Okay.
I'm going to have several tweets about the contributor award winners as well. So that should go out the Monday of KubeCon week. So that's just a heads up.
are you just going to write them yourself? You can also use make use of our shadows for comms for the contributor summit. If
Yeah,
you need some help.
that would be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Avinash was helping with that. Is that right, Avinash? You're here, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
I was working along with Ray for a blog, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you like to help with the tweets as well?
Yeah, I can help.
Nice.
So
Lovely.
thank you. So my 3 things will be published on that Monday of KubeCon week. The tweets, the blog posts, and we're gonna update kubernetes.dev/awards. So it's gonna
Oh,
all go
cool.
out.
That's awesome.
Much appreciated, Avinash. Cool. So we can chat on Slack if you need any help. You know where to find us. All right. Frederico, you have a PR out for the blog and you had just updated it last week. Any additional updates since then? Yeah, Josh had some suggestions there.
Yeah, so what I did as a follow-up to the last meeting, I had a brief conversation with around the next steps that we should have for this, and I added that information to the ticket. So I did discuss this briefly with Chris offline, but what I'm planning to do, it's what's updated there in the GitHub PR, is to take my own experience in terms of the comments that were made there and add something around that on the blog post. If that is adequate, fine. If it's not, then I mean we can likely close it and just move on, right?
Yeah. We've beaten our head up against the wall on this one quite a bit.
Yeah, seriously.
It's just like, is it worth it? No.
Yeah, but I still have once more onto the bridge kind of thing. So I think that for example, I understood the blog posts better after I started to contribute more, because it became much more apparent to me. I'm used to Git in terms of the terminal and as a code kind of thing, but it became apparent to me that a lot of our workflow doesn't really revolve around the need to have the repository in our laptop. It's more around using it as a workflow management and approval kind of thing, and in that and that's where the ability to use Pro and Tide really shines, because I don't have to, even if I know how to, I don't have to really clone the repository and then do that, because it's so what I will try to do here is perhaps add that
Insight.
Yeah, that insight into the blog without changing the core of it, and wait for the next round of reviews. If it's good, great. If it isn't, then yeah, let's move on.
That sounds great. I do think that is a good insight. Like the documentation on how to contribute is very focused on like how to set up your local environment. And so I think that's a really good thing to share, that we have tools such that you don't need to focus quite so much on that necessarily. Sounds like a plan. All right, we'll move on. At least this is in the table, though it doesn't have anyone assigned or anything. But we do need to update the owner's document for our team. I guess I can assign that to myself. I could not have done it this past week, which might make sense for it to not be assigned. If anyone else particularly wants to be involved with that,
I can help you when you hit struggles, just tag me, or
inevitably.
you know what to do. Yeah. If you hit struggles, just let me know.
Okay. Cool. I think that'll be good. Questions?
Yeah, on this point, I just, no, not on this exact approval stuff on GitHub. I just want to also ask about the, there is a Slack bot stuff which we have Teams as well. Maybe you can just do it as a single task, or somehow we can. Yeah, because there's also a team. I know that Rajula wanted to add me into that, or when we had discussion, but unfortunately he could not do it, I guess. So maybe that's the thing
Okay.
as well. Or yeah.
So there's some kind of team with the Slack bot that you needed to be
Yeah,
added to?
yeah,
The
that's
upstream
a team.
marketing team. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, something, yeah. So that needs to be, corrected
Need
to
to
the.
Rename
Yeah.
that too. Yeah.
So the one that Hina had created, that upstream marketing team,
That
Group.
alias. Yeah.
is it upstream marketing team? Do we need to update that to contributor comms?
Yes, it is upstream marketing. And it only
Oh.
has 9 members. So yeah,
We do.
change to
definitely need
contributor comms and add members.
And Avinash also volunteered to help us.
Hmm.
Might reach out to you for some help with that, Avinash. At least keep me honest and maybe ping me on this. Make sure that we actually make progress. I'm just going to put your name here so that we can work together on these two. I'll just say that. Upstream marketing team, GitHub team. Question?
No, I'm sorry.
So-
Oh,
All good.
So these members can actually start the Slack bot, right? The Slack messenger bot. Is it right? Because there's a bot which we have, like the Slack bot, which can message to multi-channels too.
We had the
Lot of
Slack
people.
bot before we had the team though.
alias. Yeah.
And Rajula
Okay.
wasn't helping, like he wasn't around much for when we created that team. So is it really that team that the Slack bot is tied to?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, which team is that? He said there is a separate team who can actually, start the bot and then communicate. So which I don't know.
I mean,
Because
there's a
since
Slack
I'm-
admin team. If
And
that's what you're looking after.
No, it's maybe, I don't know, Atal or Avinash can remember, because there is a team where, or maybe another question. So is someone is really using this Slack bot, or I know
You cut out there, but
using this Slack messenger bot.
you cut out there for a little bit. Could you repeat?
Sorry. Yeah, you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I'm asking that. Are we someone in the team using the Slack messenger bot to communicate within the Slack channels, like the comms lead, or I don't know.
Well,
or
there
we
was
separately-
there was a change recently that broke the Slack bot. And
Yeah,
so
I-
I attempted to use it this week to send a message about the CFP for the contributor summit, and it didn't work.
It didn't
because
work. Okay.
It seems to not be in all of the channels of the Slack, because you have to like add the Slack bot.
Yeah,
to
you
the
have to add it. Yeah,
channels.
that's what he explained. Yeah, so that's. But
Yeah.
actually. Mhm.
So
Okay.
it doesn't seem to be in the channels, so I wasn't able to use it.
Okay. Because.
The
so-
channels are probably new. That's probably why.
Mhm.
Or maybe we just never added it to begin with.
So I'm interested to test this channel or test this bot to make it, so that it's usable,
Mhm.
so I can, because I see that also, like if no one is using, then it's sitting right there. So maybe I can test it further, but in order to test that, I need the permission to, I should
Okay.
be in the team too. Yeah.
Mhm.
So let's chat with Rajula maybe about that. Maybe also the
Mhm.
Slack management team.
Admins. Yeah, maybe that could be also. Yeah.
I'm just going to add these two here. Also, we just need to update the GitHub team regardless of what we find from this. So chat with Rajula and the Slack management group, whatever that's called. What is the right terminology?
Slack
for that?
admins.
Slack admins.
Yeah.
And I think Josh must be a Slack admin because he was the one who told us it was broken before.
He might be.
I'm going to assign this to you, Imran.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
if you need
yeah, I
help,
can
let
ask.
us
Yeah,
know. Yeah.
sure.
Cool. Cool. Okay, we'll try and figure that out. It definitely needs to be figured out. Next item. Roles. So we have role PRs out for events coordinator, tech lead, and blogging lead. Like I said, we want to update the title of the events coordinator one to include comms. We also want to update the tech lead role similarly. And he didn't mention the blogging one. I don't know that we need to include comms in the blogging one, but maybe we should anyway, just for consistency. And maybe update the social media one as well. I was going to make sure to review these after the session, and I didn't get around to it. Avinash, I've said like 3 weeks in a row that I need to chat with you about this and make sure that we're all good to go on Josh's comments before, but we'll need to update the name of the role too. So I'm just going to put that in right now. Update name to comment added, and I'll add a similar comment on tech lead. And Josh asked me to review this 3 days ago. To comms tech lead. Okay. Then for blogging, I won't put that comment on here right now. I might suggest it, but I need to do a final review on that. Anything else on roles?
Yep. So my only update is that the blog one was merged. So
Was it?
yeah.
This one is still open.
Oh,
This is the handbook. Yeah, this is the role. The blogging.
So yeah, sorry, I got a let me check. I got a not merge perhaps, but LGTM. Let me see. I have a lot of pull requests, so
Josh put a comment on it to ask me to review it.
okay, that's yeah, exactly. That's it. So
Okay,
it's up to. So what I meant to say is that it's up to you.
Gotcha.
Yeah. No, it wasn't merge. That's what it was. I was thinking of something else, but it was commented, and I didn't get a lot more feedback, so it seems to be adequate at least.
Yeah, seems to be. So I will make sure to give that an LGTM and approval later today, unless we want to suggest adding comms to the title like the other ones. Kind of want to think on that a little bit more.
Yep.
Alrighty. So that's roles. Questions, comments on roles before we move on? All right. Next item, contributor site. Creating a project overview page. How's that going, Imran? You were looking for the new contributor workshop stuff.
I mean, yeah, so I mean, you gave updates, so I think maybe I should just link to this, this information discussed in the ContribEx, and then we can maybe this issue can be closed. I don't see it will come separately as a, I think, separate document. So I'll just add this info to this issue, and then maybe we can close this. Yeah.
I think that's reasonable. It's going to
Yeah.
take a while to get that content together.
Yeah.
As it
Mhm.
already has. Do we want to keep tracking this right in our
Yeah,
table though,
yeah,
so that we know
Yeah,
that when that
until
stuff
next
comes
week,
out?
maybe. Yeah, then you can
Yeah.
keep it completely.
Okay. So we'll come back to that again next week and just keep an eye on that until there is material. Next item. Where was this? Yep, those ones are still open. This one was mergeable, did I not? Oh yeah, we needed someone with permissions to approve it, and it did get approved, but he also put a hold on it.
Wait, what? What's
What's
the hold for?
hold for?
Go,
Yeah.
go.
I didn't
It-
see.
He
Chief
just
Pepper,
said
could you take a
s-
look at this title or someone else to review?
he
it?
just said /hold for the actual dir change. I think he was thinking like we're
Oh.
waiting to change and we're actually waiting on this. So
Oh,
maybe
this
just
is the
say-
thing. Like, Bob, this is the thing.
this is it. We need to go now.
This is it. Please unhold.
Unhold it. Technically, anyone can unhold it, but
Should I just do it?
I would.
All right,
mean-
let's just do it.
Oh, put an explanation in. Don't just unhold it. All right.
That's
like,
true.
I think you were on the right path.
Good call. Other. Hold, cancel. Will it be done? It needs an LGTM label, it says.
It has
So let
one.
me also LGTM.
I thought it, Bob.
Am I able to
LGTM'd it.
LGTM?
I thought
He
did.
approved it. He didn't LGTM it.
I think I probably can if you can.
It says that it added the label. So
Oh, there
it
you go.
should be good.
I'm around here in a second.
Okay, removed the hold.
Yeah, I mean, if it's labeled right, it's just a matter of brow and
Yeah.
tide.
All right, so
Fine.
this will take a few minutes for it to sync, but
Mhm.
hopefully that will be done by the end of this meeting. Approved, unholded. LGTM. All right. Checking these things in this meeting. Good plan. Done yet? No. All right. We'll come back to this later. So let's move on to the next item. Come back to that at the end. SIG spotlights. I don't think anyone is actively working on SIG spotlights except Federico, maybe the architecture one. You did have the interview in progress and stuff going on. So architecture.
Yep, that one is still in progress. I've been weekly pestering the SIG architecture shares for updates. And though it's while delayed, I do have feedback on that. So it's ongoing still. Not so much for the SIG security one. And on that one, I've just added a comment saying that I'm going to put it on ice for the time being, because there's really no advantage in me going insisting every week without any feedback. So I would say that one is on hold. Let's put it like that.
You can say it that way. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you just can't get folks to join in. So
I'm just saying this so that things can get updated here in the table.
Cool. Sounds good. I should go ahead and remove these because these have been out for a while. This is an evergreen task for us, though. If anybody wants to write a blog post, reach out to me and I can give you the details on how to do these. Always an open offer. All right. And this is only Federico right now. Otarvo was mentioning he would like to do one of these at some point, but not.
I
able
like to start it as well. So
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know which
Cool.
SIG to choose on, but if you have anyone has any hint which could be interesting, or I'll have to just pick a random SIG and then just go for it.
One that hasn't been done yet.
Mhm. Okay,
I think-
I'll check out. Yeah, I'll check out for
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
that's-
the ones that
Mhm.
were done were
docs.
SIG Windows,
Yep.
docs, multi-cluster, I think, or maybe I'm projecting, but storage was done,
Mhm.
and that's pretty much
Yeah.
it. I think that,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay,
Anything
I can
else is
leave
so
out
old that it
these.
doesn't matter.
There you go. Yeah.
The world
I'll
is
ask
your
Federico
oyster.
on this one. Sorry.
What were you saying?
No, I said I'll ask Federico for some guidance or to
No,
get started on.
absolutely.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
anyway, I'll like to write.
Actually, we have a comment on we have some contents on how to perform
Yeah. Mhm.
the spotlights.
The blogging guidelines, right? The
Yeah,
guideline. Yeah.
We also have that, but we have 6 spotlight specific ones, and maybe I can also add to it based on my own experience. So yeah, but
Yeah.
feel
Oh, that's
free
a good
to-
point.
That is a good
Avinash
point.
mentioned in the chat. Don't forget SIG ContribEx exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
But whatever you're interested in.
Mhm.
And as Federico was saying, we do have some
Yeah,
specific materials
And
for
that
this.
that one would be easier because we wouldn't be delaying answers to ourselves. So yeah.
But anything you'd like to do, help is appreciated. Always happy to get a new SIG spotlight out. Alrighty. What is this PR? Is this from the SIG storage one? So I'm going to remove that. Lovely. All right. And the very next item is the updates to the blogging instructions. Josh LGTM and approved it, and it was merged. So those instructions are in.
That was what I was
Yeah, you right.
from. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So this is done. Well, merged. Probably the better way to say it. Cool. Great work, Federico. Thank you so much for doing that. It's a really nice document.
Well, thank you. But it was actually very, very useful for me because the more I get into the docs, blogs, etc., it really helped me in understanding trying to go through the process. And so, as you know, it's often said, sometimes the best way to learn is to try to teach others. So that was certainly the case here.
Yeah. I should remind the Contributor Summit Comms Shadows that this is out now. I mentioned it to them when we first started doing Contributor Summit planning as a good resource. We're trying to do more blogs this time. So now that it's in, I should remind them. Cool. So we'll move on. Kata coded to GitHub code spaces. Nothing in particular for our group to do here, but something we've been keeping an eye on. Deba, Abhinesh, Ray, anyone have any updates on Kata coded to GitHub spaces?
I have an update.
Yeah.
I asked Craig, like, hey, do you need some help, like, working on this? And he said that his code base is not quite ready for others yet.
Okay.
So
All right.
I'm waiting on that green light to start diving in.
All right. Not quite ready for help yet.
Needs to do
But
some
we'll
cleanup.
keep an
kind
eye
of
on
thing.
it.
So yeah, like it's a work in progress, but it's all in Craig's court right now.
Okay, sounds good. Validate command still broken. We were gonna
Yeah.
check to see, Imran, you were gonna check to see if that was fixed by the new Twitter Together update. Did
Yeah,
you check in
actually,
on that?
I updated the image or the new version for the Twitter Together. So I created a pull request, but someone needs to review it. So that's the that's
where's
the
the pull
tricky part.
request?
Yeah.
Well,
So
good
I asked
call.
Rajula, but I messaged him as well. But I can give the PR raised.
Yeah.
Upgrade Twitter Together. There it is.
Yeah, is there? Yeah.
What changed? You
And
changed
you're
So
it.
it just changed the
Oh, okay,
GitHub
yeah.
action. Yeah. So it
Just
should
the
be.
version.
It should just a version. Yeah.
Should just work. Yeah.
Yeah, it should work. I don't know how to test it locally, but I think as it goes, it should work fine. But
Merge it. Uh-oh. Wait. Pending reviews. That's it, right?
It just says
Yeah.
workflow awaiting approval. First time
Yeah.
contributors need a maintainer to approve running workflows. One pending and
yeah.
one successful check.
There you go. Just LGTM and approve it and off it'll go.
It has a button too to say
Don't
approve and
push
run.
the
Approve and-
buttons.
That's
Don't
weird.
push the buttons in GitHub. That's the one thing, like GitHub management, like we have these commands for a reason.
Yeah.
So we can track like actual activity on stuff. And if we don't use the commands, even though we have the permissions in GitHub, it kind of throws stuff off.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, generally a good tip in GitHub.
right. Like just
UI is
because
not great.
there's a button doesn't mean you should click it in the Kate's world, right? Like it's just good advice. And this
Boom,
only
merged.
happens when you get the, when you're in the
Awesome.
owner's files. So yeah. Cool.
Cool.
So we should try to draft a tweet
yeah,
through there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe also I'll check. There is one issue which has a validate or something. I need to
Cool.
test them. So
Yeah, let me look at
I'll
that.
test it. Yeah, I need to
Yeah,
test
yeah.
it and see that. Yeah. Mhm.
That'd be awesome.
Anything in particular that we should tweet about? CFP or something?
I
100%
just
CFP.
queued the CFP thing to go
Yeah.
out. So
We could do another one.
always good.
Really? For that one. Yeah.
All right. I'm trying to find. I just had it open. Oh, I closed that whole window. Never mind.
Something on that one? Should I
I'm
move
trying to
on?
find the one that needs validation. I can't remember anything to save my life today. That's all.
There aren't any other open PRs, so
Oops.
Maybe on the closed issue I can find. I think he showed something. I will also dig in as well.
Why am I blanking on the name?
cool. Moving on to next item. There is a mentoring, experience of Linux Foundation mentorship blog that we were asked to help with, and then it got reviewed. And there were a bunch of edits and nothing has moved on it. So I guess I'll ping Meha. Helping each other work with GitHub. A large part of what we do. All right, so I'll move on to the next item. SIG docs blog subproject process changes. Ray, last update on this, I think, was that you all needed help getting the process flow docs updated. That's still the case?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
actually going to just actually take a look to see, look at Federico's PR, and it'll be the same PR to SIG docs. K website just at a different place, of course, but it will just gonna be inspired by Frederico's pull request.
Sounds like a good plan to me. There's probably a little extra stuff in there that you might not need, I guess. I mean, it might be useful actually to mention the differences between Kubernetes.io and K8s.dev. So
yeah, I think that we should actually do that because I know
Yeah.
we have this tacit knowledge, but it should actually be stated.
look at you,
Yeah.
Frederico, contributing to SIG docs.
No, yeah, and absolutely, and I think that was one of the things that I've learned when I was writing, is that it wasn't, when I started, it wasn't obvious to me even the difference in contributing to one or the other.
Yep.
So I've tried to reflect that, but certainly SIG doc specific one can add more stuff there, and I'll more than happy to continue to be involved in it, obviously.
Lovely. I'll add you in as one of the owners of this too, then. 'Cause you will be involved one way or another. All right, next item, security comms guidelines. This is on hold. So I assume no updates there, right, Avinash?
Yep.
Perfect. And scheduling tweets for non-contributor comms members. This still has not been updated. There's a new PR. Ugh, darn it. I found the new PR last time and I apparently didn't update this link. But Twitter Together like moved repos, and so they have
Yeah,
a
it's
different.
under Twitter Together org now. So
Yeah, right.
That's cool.
So we
mean,
found
that's-
that last time and I commented, it seems like they grabbed the wrong issue for this. They like grabbed a different one that referenced the issue that we had as the main one. It was like a dupe kind of thing. Where they were like, actually look at this other PR. And that was the one that they moved into the new org. So I mentioned that in their new org somewhere.
We're talking about the scheduling thing, right?
Yes, scheduling thing.
So I think we have some updates on that. And looking at the new release, I found out that they are still working on it. And it's quite complex to build the scheduling feature for now. So they have suggested to use a merge scheduler to as an external tool to do the same thing.
I mean, that's basically taking my reminder and me clicking through to go check and automating it.
Yeah. Mhm.
That would make a ton of sense. Just like every morning at like 9 a.m. Pacific time.
It's the old
Just
one.
check it and run it.
So we don't
Yeah,
have
that
an
is-
issue, but it's, yeah, sorry.
No, I was saying the link to the new one was also linked on the previous repo.
Was it?
Yeah, so that was at the bottom. I think after they archived it, the issues and the pull request goes away after, I think, 6 months on GitHub. It could be wrong, but GitHub keeps them for like few months once you archive something, but they go away.
I know that
realize
we
that.
had discussed this, Mofi, and you were interested in looking into the scheduling action thing. Is
So
that still
actually,
the case?
Avinash, yeah. So here's
Avinash,
the
yeah.
link. Yeah, yeah. Avinash wrote it to me as well. So I mean, here is the chat which has this, which is future, which can possibly schedule the tweet. So I mean, you can have a check on it, and we need to have an issue to work on it. Yeah. So I wanted to check, but I didn't have time this week. So, but that's
And
the
Mofi
link.
is also interested in helping with that. So you all can work together on that.
Sure.
So Avinash, Mofi, and Imran all looking into action to schedule merges. I guess that's a good way to describe it.
Scheduled, yeah, scheduled tweets. Oh no, sorry. That's the GitHub action or to schedule them.
Well, to like unhold at the specific time or something.
Exactly. Yeah. Merge. Yeah. Merge the pull request on a specific schedule. Yeah.
I imagine it wouldn't be too terribly challenging to do, just never had time to look into it. And that's our last item on the table. We're through everything 6 minutes early. So anything else that folks want to discuss?
Maybe I discussed this with Avinash and Imran offline somewhere, but if we have the time, can you talk about like what we're trying to unhold at a specific time? Like there is like a PR that's open and you on GitHub, you want to unhold that at a specific time? Or is it like more of tweets? Because
So
It's-
we
it's,
have a GitHub contributor tweets repo, which
okay.
has Twitter Together on it. And so we also have the ability to, if you create an issue, it'll automatically create a PR from that issue. So it'll create a PR of a tweet. And once that tweet is approved and LGTM'd and merged, it'll go out on the Twitter account, Kate's
Right.
contributors. So we have the Prowbot. If we do /hold in a comment, it'll hold that tweet until it is unholded, and then it will be merged when the hold is removed. And so that's one way that we could schedule these things, since Twitter Together actually has the ability to schedule tweets. It just doesn't work for Kubernetes processes.
Mhm.
Okay.
So yeah, so basically we would need to create an action that puts in a comment to unhold at a specific time.
And it has to be in the owner's file because that's true. Anybody can unhold. So
So
should be okay.
now the question is, does the unholding have to happen from Twitter Together, or the unholding can be just a separate GitHub action that we're just setting a timer for?
Separate action, I would think.
Right. Okay.
yeah.
Gonna
So I
have to
think
be a
this-
separate action.
Yeah. And you know what? While you're investigating, there might even be like a GitHub to buffer thing. Who knows?
Or like figure out if we can. That's what I was going to ask. Like I heard people talking about buffers. If we can figure out a buffer API, like if they have any,
They do. They have
yeah.
lots
So
of APIs. Yeah.
if they have APIs, you could probably write an action for buffer directly, right?
Maybe. There might already be
Okay.
one for all I know. You know.
Probably more complex, because what we have right now is we have automation that can create the PR from the issue, and then once the PR is merged, then it sends out the tweet. So we'd have to change that. Instead of using Twitter Together, we'd have to use this new action that sends it to buffer instead and uses the buffer
So-
APIs to schedule it,
okay.
which maybe is a better option, but I think it's a bigger task.
Also,
Yes, I agree.
If I'm misunderstanding something, clarify. So when you hold and unhold, you already know what time you want to unhold it at, right?
You should in theory, yeah.
In theory, I mean, the person
Because-
creating the tweet would have to tell us what
Right. So
time.
because when you want to send it to buffer, you will basically just say, I want this tweet to go out at 7:45 on Tuesday, the 17th or something.
Well, you
right?
could just, for buffer, there's an API call for just add to queue, right? Like it would just go in the next slot that's available.
Okay. Again, we don't do it because it's easy. We do it because it's hard. We're gonna, I'll look into the buffer API. I think that could be more interesting.
It
Looking
could
for
be
a
more
challenge.
interesting,
Yeah.
and it could kind of like streamline,
Yeah.
that whole thing. You know,
Because it's just like holding and unholding, it just seems like such a roundabout way of doing the thing we're actually trying to do. I mean, it works, but not the way it's intended to. But again, this might be my naive optimism on computer things. But again, I will.
no, like it's not naive, I don't think.
Yeah. So I'll look into that. I'll take that as an action item.
Oh, I already found like 2 for buffer, I think.
Awesome.
Make our own Twitter Together.
Mhm.
Works for me. And
Oh,
we're about at
Buffer
time.
actually has GitHub helper. Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, well, there you go.
Let me drop this in the chat real quick. That's pretty cool. A simple GitHub action for Bufferbot to add helpful context and links to your PRs. Well, that's not quite what we're trying to do, but maybe we can get it to do what we want.
Perhaps research required.
Yeah. But I didn't realize Buffer even had an org on GitHub. So
Today we learned.
right.
Yeah,
Andy.
I mean, again, worst case scenario, it's gonna be a brand new GitHub action because I love
Right.
GitHub actions. Great.
There you go.
You can
Awesome.
do a lot of dumb things with GitHub actions, which is the whole purpose of computers, I think.
It is why we taught Sam to think.
Yes. Damn it.
Widely regarded as a bad move. They say in Hitchhiker's Guide. All righty. I think we'll call it good for today then. We are at time, so I'll go ahead and stop our recording. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining.
So long, and thanks for all the fish.
Yeah.